Welcome back to the vlog and welcome back to Papua New Guinea. My name is Ryan. We're out here at a bush location heading to the busiest airport in Papua New Guinea, Port Moresby. Let's go ahead and get started. Igniter's on, fuel pump on, low start. Wait till my NG comes up before I pull up my fuel. And introduce my low idle. NG's coming up over 30%. ITT's coming up pretty quickly just because I just shut down just probably 10 minutes ago. Just dropping off a cargo load and some people that live out here. Alright, igniter's off, fuel pump off, generator on, prop forward, our V2 tracker on. Ramps are coming down, alternator on, and aux bus on. Yeah, we've got a bunch of missionaries coming back into the country, so I'm flying down to Port Moresby to pick all of them up. We've got 3 Kodiaks actually flying down to Port Moresby today. So it should be pretty busy because SIL has 3 Kodiaks and MIAPA, I believe, has a couple caravans also heading down there. So it's going to be a very busy ramp. All right, let's go ahead and taxi to the top, get off this side slope so my fuel doesn't just transfer over to my other tank. Little kids sitting up here on top of the hill. All the kids stand behind the plane when I'm ready to take off so they can experience all the prop wash. I'm sure it's probably not the safest thing, but what are you going to do? Alright, fuel caps and selectors are good. I checked my selectors as I climbed in. Controls, systems, and TAWs. Systems we did this morning, controls we just did. Turn Betty off for takeoff. Switches and instruments, I'm 5,500 pounds today, so my rotate's going to be 55. And if I had to come back in, we're looking at 64. Alright, flaps are set, indicated, and verified at 20. Our trims are already set up. I'm going to be airspeed alive by that little walking path across the airstrip. If I'm not, full reverse, heavy braking, up, cut up, pull off, and shut off. If we're going off, I'll go off to the right, just past the windsock. After takeoff, we're going to pitch for 85, consider EPL immediately, otherwise right-hand turn and feather, cut off, pull off, and shut off. 80 full flaps, hit my emergency, crack my door, master's off. Moresby 6622, November Tango Echo, departure.
November Tango Echo, Moresby, go ahead.
November Tango Echo, taxi Sendini, Moresby, 1 POB.
November Tango Echo, stand by for traffic. Tango Oscar Whiskey, Bell Helicopter, departed late for Kerama at 1710,000, estimate Kerama 15.
Copy, Tango Echo, or Oscar Whiskey, November Tango Echo.
November Tango Echo.
All stations Sendini 120.0.7, November Tango Echo, departing Sendini for Moresby, will climb 1000. Alright, ignition, inlet and lights done, SARS done. We are 5,000 at 20 degrees, so 1390 for 1440. Ignition condition, flaps 20, fuel and harnesses. Checklist is complete. 1390. Oh, already slipping. Alright, torque is set, airspeed's alive, continuing. There's 50. And we're already airborne. So today I think I'm going to head out this way, head up the valley and then out towards Ombog. I'll be able to get on track just a little bit faster going out this way. It's just another hour flight down to Port Moresby today. Let's see, we're climbing at 85 knots eventually. Once I get there, nose over a little bit. I'm super light, so I have no issues getting up over these mountains up here ahead of me. Over 80, we'll go 20 or 10 degrees of flaps. A little bit of that right rudder trim out of there because we don't need as much anymore because we're speeding up and also reducing the angle of attack. And then we'll trim it back
500.
Bring our prop back to 2,000 RPM. And let our ITT settle in at 720 for our climb up to 11,000. Alright, we'll flip our landing light off, our engine back to normal, our ignition is turned off. Our ITT is just very, very slowly working its way down to 720 and now it's there, so. Moresby 6622 November Tango Echo, departure.
November Tango Echo, Moresby standby.
Alright, so it looks like the clouds are all the way up to probably 9,000 to 10,000 feet, so I'm going to have to do one orbit, I think, to be able to get up and over top of those clouds over there. Alright, so right below me is Mariwaka. Just did a video out there just a couple of weeks ago, so if you haven't seen that, I'll see if I can remember to link it up here. If not, you can always just check out the playlist at the end. It'll be on there as well, but took some medicine out there. There was a bunch of like leftover medicine at the hospital in Goroka that the government donated to a bunch of different locations, so we flew it out here. Well, I was expecting Moresby to get back with me, but it didn't. So I'm going to be calling him up anyways here in probably 10 minutes. November Tango Echo departed Sendeni time 41, tracking 135 on climb 1000, estimating overhead Ombog 51.
November Tango Echo, no additional reported traffic to Tango Oscar Whiskey.
November Tango Echo.
November Tango Echo, request your present level.
Passing 9,500 on climb 1000.
November Tango Echo.
I'm just climbing out here at 100 knots, that way I can throw on my autopilot. Hope it's put it on heading mode for the time being and so we can intercept at Ombog. That's my first reporting point. And I think, well, between there and MIAPA, which is about 85 miles from Port Moresby, that's when they'll probably give my IFR clearance to get into the controlled airspace. Oh yeah, we're going into Port Moresby. It is the international airport for Papua New Guinea. It's the biggest, busiest airport that we have here. And a lot of you guys have asked, you know, do I get IFR clearances every day for my stuff? Because every single one of my flights, we do file IFR flight plans, which allows us to, well, be able to fly through clouds and stuff legally. But no, we do not get IFR clearances like you would in the States unless we're going into Port Moresby or unless we're going into Nadzeb. Really, those are the only two places that I can think of that would actually give you a clearance in there. And then I'm thinking Moresby is the only place that has radar available in PNG. Oops, passing through 11,000. Let me level off. So that chime is for, is it reminds you you're 200 feet below or above. I was 200 feet above, so let's head on back down to 11,000. Hopefully we can, I think we'll be able to just skirt the tops of these clouds here on our way to Ombog. Once our speed is up to right around 130 knots, we're going to go ahead and just reduce our torque back to 1,250 foot-pounds of torque. Then also take a little bit more of that right rudder trim out, because now our speed's all the way increased. We're not in a climb angle, so we really don't need the right rudder pressure. So here we are in Papua New Guinea. It's right above Australia. If you're not familiar where Papua New Guinea is, no, it's not in Africa. That's Guinea, Africa. Anyways, we left here kind of in the middle in the highlands. We did one little loop-de-loop, and then now we're heading on down to Port Moresby. So our track's just going to kind of come on down that way. So I checked the weather earlier. Actually, let me see if I can actually show you here on this. This is ForeFlight app, which is really nice. So the nice thing about the ForeFlight app is it allows us to actually put all of our own user content here in Papua New Guinea, because PNG does not have like maps and things that are available on ForeFlight. We're able to actually upload all of our own stuff, all of our own airports. Let me just quickly bring that up for you guys. So these are all the airstrips in Papua New Guinea. Red ones are closed, blue ones are still open. But yeah, there are hundreds and hundreds, I want to say maybe 300 or so different airstrips in Papua New Guinea. Probably most of them are not used anymore, but probably I would say 30 to 40 years ago, probably the majority of them actually were used. So, let me clear that off. Anyways, the nice thing about the ForeFlight app is you connect to the internet before you leave on your flight. You can't get it in flight here in PNG. But it can at least give us our TAFT and our METAR and things like that here at Port Moresby. It looks like it's going to be a really nice day. Let's see, right now it's nearly 10 o'clock in the morning, and I'm going to be getting down there at 10:44. So here's the 10 a.m. one. Looks like it's going to be heading at 160 at 12 knots, so we'll expect to land on runway 14. They'll probably bring us in on the ILS and scatter to 1800. Okay, we're just now approaching Ombog, and this is our IFR routes for our own company. So from Ombog onto MIAPA, we can be at 11,000. It doesn't. I think I should be able just to skirt over these clouds here in front of me. But let's go ahead and call up Moresby now. I think 120.9er. Moresby 120.9er, November Tango Echo position. Let me try a different one. Moresby 120.7, November Tango Echo position.
November Tango Echo Moresby, standby.
Moresby 1207, November Tango Echo position.
November Tango Echo Moresby, go ahead.
November Tango Echo, Ombog time 5-1, maintaining 1,000. Estimating MIAPA 0015.
Tango Echo. Reading strength 2, braking, request.
I didn't catch that. I think she said the other frequency. Moresby 6622, November Tango Echo, check call.
November Tango Echo, reading is force, go ahead.
November Tango Echo, Ombog time 5-1, maintaining 1,000, estimating MIAPA 0015.
November Tango Echo, copy, remain this frequency.
Remain this frequency, November Tango Echo. We're about 16 minutes out until my next reporting point. At that point, they're going to switch me over to basically Moresby Radar. And kind of be like center, then approach, and then tower is kind of how it is, but it's Moresby Radar, and then Jackson Radar, and then Jackson Tower. So let's go ahead and bring up my airport tab. Well, we can come over here to the taxi, and it has our ATIS on here, so I can go ahead and throw that in here just so that I have it, so I can remember to get it. Put in my secondary. I have my ATIS in there, even though I'm not being able to pick it up yet. Once I start picking it up, it will say a little RX saying receiving a transmission. Then I'll know I need to check that. And that way, I have it set up this way so that before I switch over to 125.8, that's when I will remember, hey, I have to get my ATIS first before I switch over to them, so that I can let them know that I have the ATIS. So I've got all my radio stuff set up. We're still way out. I haven't even listed ATIS yet, but when we get closer, I'll set up the approach. Even though it's a VFR day, they'll probably still have me fly the approach in, and then probably just sidestep over to a runway, just to keep everybody coming in the same way. It just makes their life easier. November Tango Echo, go ahead.
Hotel November receiving Moresby on 120.7. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, you broke up a little bit. Can you please say again, full clearance, November Tango Echo?
Minyamia at time 20. Current position 20 nautical miles north of Minyamia. And request not above 11000, Papa Hotel November.
Clear to enter controlled airspace via MIAPA SAKTO, then Moresby, enter 11000, code 0325, November Tango Echo. Let's go ahead and put in our transponder code 0325. Once I get up to MIAPA here in another 5 minutes, they'll switch me over to Moresby Radar.
Tango Echo, Moresby.
November Tango Echo, go ahead.
Tango Echo, it's MIAPA, contact Moresby Radar on 119 Moresby.
Moresby Radar, MIAPA 119.3, November Tango Echo. Okay, you see this little R down here kind of flashing every once in a while. That means that Moresby now is picking me up on their radar. So they're going to probably say, hey, radar contact, letting me know that they now see me as I'm entering into their controlled airspace. Moresby Radar, November Tango Echo.
November Tango Echo, Moresby Radar.
Morning, November Tango Echo, MIAPA maintaining 11000.
November Tango Echo, Moresby Radar, morning, identified.
November Tango Echo.
November Tango Echo 1, ready, descend 10,000, QNH 1011.
When ready, descend 10,000, area QNH 1011, November Tango Echo.
That's the station QNH 1011.
Local QNH, thanks, November Tango Echo. Yeah, right after I said that, I was like, oh, wait a minute, no, that's probably local QNH. Right, I'm still not able to get the ATIS. Not 100% sure why. It normally would pick up at this point, but he did give me that. Otherwise, I'll just ask him for the ATIS here in a second. So let me try a different frequency.
150 degrees.
Yeah, it's just not picking up on this one, so let me switch over to that.
Port Moresby Airport, information Romeo. Time 2342 Zulu. Runway 14. Wind 150 degrees, 10 knots. Maximum 20 knots. Visibility 10 kilometers or more. Haze. Cloud. View 2,500 feet. View 5,000 feet. Temperature 31. Dew point 22. QNH 10.
November Tango Echo, contact Jackson's radar 125.8.
Jackson Radar 125.8, November Tango Echo. Jackson's Radar, November Tango Echo, maintaining 10,000 with information Romeo.
November Tango Echo, Jackson's radar is under 6,000, expect a visual straight in runway 14 right.
Send 6,000, expect a visual 14 right, November Tango Echo. Alright, come on down to 6,000. Just to confirm, I've got my 6,000 in here, my altitude select, and then I did my altitude and my vertical speed together, and it has my altitude right here. Also has my altitude up here in white, so basically it's armed, so once I get to that altitude, it will level itself off. Especially coming into places like this where they give you specific altitudes, it's very good to like double check all of your numbers to make sure that you're not going to be breaking any altitudes that they've given you. We can also set up our tower 118.1 as well as our ground 121.7. If you guys want to try this exact same flight out at home on Microsoft Flight Sim, X-Plane 11, or whatever you have, I'll leave the link down below. I'll put that on my Patreon page with the strip details for getting out of the place we got out of, all the way down to Moresby. Know what the weather is today. So if you're interested in doing some flights here in Papua New Guinea, experience PNG as much as you can from home, check out my Patreon page. I've got a lot of different flights. I got photos on there, and also some just exclusive videos that I don't post here on YouTube for like on-the-ground content. So usually I walk around different places that I go to and throw up the drone, show you around, just to give you a little bit more of the culture and a little bit more of what it actually looks like on the ground and what we do there. So anyways, check that out if you are interested.
November Tango Echo, descend 2,500.
Descend 2,500, November Tango Echo. Looking at the clouds here, definitely clear underneath. It looks like there's this one layer right here, right around 5,000 feet, like the ATIS was saying. So I'm guessing once we just pop through this little layer, then it's going to be really nice visibility and clear underneath. All right, we're 8 minutes out. We'll just check our selectors. Our brakes are good. Our TAWS is enabled right now. Our VREF, which is our landing speed, our approach speed, 5160 is my weight, so the slowest I should come in is at 62 knots. I probably won't, just because it doesn't sound busy here today at all. Like, this is the busiest airport, and I haven't heard another airplane really come in yet. So it's very, very slow today. So I'll still come in at probably, I'm guessing probably around 70 to 75 knots on my approach, because there's really no sense in coming in at 62 knots when you have like a mile plus runway. Our lights in our inlet, our lights are already done. We'll do our inlet as we get a little bit closer to the ground. Our abort, if we do have to go around for any reason, it's just going to be power up, 20 degrees of flaps, pitch for 73 knots, maneuvers required, and reset our torque up to 700, or correction, our ITT up to 740. So we have the maximum amount of power and still within our limits. We can go up to 790, but 740 is the top of the green.
Tango Echo, verify your level and your in-flight condition.
Definitely 4,000 and scattered at 4,000. I should be visual with the airfield here shortly. November Echo.
November Tango Echo.
And November Tango Echo, visual with the airfield.
November Tango Echo, clear visual approach straight in 14 right, contact tower 118.110 miles.
Here for the visual 14 right, contact tower 118.110 miles, November Tango Echo. Okay, so we're 18 miles now, so another 8 miles we'll switch over to tower. Really, really nice morning out. It's 10:30 now. I've got to head back to Goroka this afternoon. Like I said, we've got a humanitarian flight coming in with a bunch of missionaries, like 42 missionaries or something. So we've got 3 of our own planes going back to Goroka. It's supposed to be pretty crummy weather getting back, so I have an overnight bag, and depending on what the weather is forecasting and what the radar, not radar, but satellite is actually showing, if it's as bad as it's saying it's going to be with rainstorms and whatnot all the way along the way. So that will determine whether or not I overnight here or head back whenever they land. I think they're landing right about now at 10:30, so they're actually ahead of schedule, which is great. So yeah, anyways, I'm also going to film the flight tomorrow. I come back down here to pick up a load of more people, I believe, or cargo, one of the two. I think it's cargo. So if it's just cargo, I'll film that flight all the way back up to Goroka as well, so you can get the return flight more or less. Jackson Tower, November Tango Echo, visual 14 right, 10 miles.
November Tango Echo Tower, continue approach 14 right.
Continue 14 right, November Tango Echo. Alright, we can do harness, we'll do prop when we get a little bit closer. There's really no point in slowing down quite yet, because we're still 10 miles out. Well, I think this is the very first time I've come into Moresby when it's this slow. I was going to use on my thumbnail or something saying about how we're coming to the busiest airport, but yeah, this is not very busy today. This is like less than a Class D airspace in the States. Like, it's nothing today. That's the first plane I've heard even do anything. Already bumpy, and it's only 10:30 in the morning. I've got 3 knots of wind. One of them says that the wind is going this way, the other one says the wind's going the opposite way, so maybe we're
Vertical
just right in that transition
Vertical
level
track.
where all the wind shear is.
November Tango Echo 14 right, clear to land.
Little in 14 right, November Tango Echo. Alright, clear to land. Just keep my speed up here. Probably land a little bit long because basically I'm going all the way down to the other end of the airport. So I'll probably come in pretty fast, float for half the runway, and then probably touch down about the midpoint somewhere. Alright, there's about a mile out. Let's push our prop forward. And reduce my torque. All
500.
the way down to probably 300. It's a little bumpy. Alright, there's our bypass. Prop and harness is done. We've been landing clearance. Do 10 degrees of flaps. Under 120, we'll go here in a second. 20 degrees of flaps. Under 108 knots, we'll go full flaps. Checklist is complete. And then to idle. One. Eventually we'll get down. Alright, we'll go low idle. The nice thing about ForeFlight is it actually immediately goes to your taxi diagram after you land, which is super nice for places like here because they don't have any taxi signs, which I don't understand why. But you have absolutely no idea where you are unless you have something like this to let you know exactly where you are. Alright, strobe off, landing light, and then taxi light back just to normal.
Jackson Tower, good day, Kilo Sierra Yankee, ready 14 right.
Alright, we're on Kilo 1.
14 right.
Jackson ground, November Tango Echo, Kilo 1, requesting taxi MIAPA hangar.
November Tango Echo, Jackson's ground. Continue taxi.
Continue taxi, November Tango Echo. Alright, clear on both sides. This is Jackson's International Airport. Nothing that special about it that I can tell you guys about, but except that it's always windy here, and even at 10 in the morning there's still like 20 knots of wind gusting, so yeah. We don't get that up in Garoka, but I mean the ocean is just straight out there without anything blocking the wind, so that does make sense. The windsock's just completely standing straight out. Thank you guys for taking the time to watch this video. I sure do appreciate it. Leave a comment down below if you guys did enjoy it, and give it a thumbs up and share it with all your other friends. Feel free to do that if you'd like. Consider subscribing. I put out videos twice a week on Wednesdays and Saturdays, so if you guys like this content, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Alright, it does look like the ramp is getting busy, so we'll see where I'm going to park. Alright guys, for a shutdown, turn off my blowers, my lights, aux bus generator, alternator, V2, and cut off, and feather. Then once my NG comes down a little bit lower, I'll flip off my fuel pump, and that's it. Thanks again guys, have a good one.